Hello and welcome to our nightly news. These are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdulmajid Tebboune, was officially received by the President of the Republic of Slovenia, Nataša Pirc-Musar. In a press conference, the President Abdulmajid Tebboune underlined that the prospect for cooperation between the two countries remain wide open, aiming to achieve a strong and exemplary bilateral relations, praising Slovenia's brave and principled stance on just causes, especially regarding Palestine and the Western Sahara. Algeria and Slovenia signed a joint declaration along with several cooperation agreements and memorandums of understanding in several key sectors. In light of renewed armed clashes in Tripoli, Algeria urged Libyan parties to show a high sense of national responsibility and to adopt dialogue as the sole means of resolving their differences. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's news. And on the second day of his state visit to the Republic of Slovenia, President of the Republic, Abdulmajid Tebboune, was officially received by his Slovenian counterpart, Nataša Pirc-Musar, at Congress Square in Ljubljana. After the national anthems were played, the two presidents reviewed a detachment of the Republican Guard, paying them the honors.
Gospod predsednik Ljudske demokratične republike Alžirije, častna enota Republike Slovenije je postrojena v vašo čast in pripravljena za pregled. Poroča podpolkovnik Bernard Polanec.
After saluting the flag, President Abdelmadjid Tebboune then greeted the members of the Slovenian delegation present at the ceremony. In turn, President of the Republic of Slovenia welcomed the Algerian delegation, accompanying the President of the Republic. The official reception concluded with the two leaders taking a commemorative photo. Following the official welcome ceremony reserved to the President Abdelmadjid Tebboune by the Slovenian President, and in the Congress Square in Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, in the Congress Square, the President of the Republic laid a wreath at the memorial stele, a tribute to the victims of war and a symbol of peace and reconciliation.
Hip,
President of the Republic then greeted the members of the national community living in Slovenia who had come to welcome him. Members of the national community in Slovenia gathered from across the country to welcome President Abdelmajid Tebboune. The president exchanged greetings with the diaspora, a gesture reflecting their strong support for him.
تحية عمي تبون تحية عمي تبون السلام عليكم أهلا وسهلا بك سيدي بارك الله فيك يا عمي تبون bienvenue يا عمي تبون
Later at the presidential palace in Ljubljana, the president posed for a souvenir photo with his Slovenian counterpart, Nataša Pirc Musar. Before signing the guest book. President Abdelmajid Tebboune held one-on-one talks with his Slovenian counterpart, Nataša Pirc Musar, at the presidential palace of the Republic of Slovenia. President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune later co-chaired extended talks with Slovenian President Nataša Pirc Musar, joined by members of both delegations. The discussions focused on exploring new partnership opportunities and enhancing cooperation across various sectors. At the presidential palace, President Abdelmajid Tebboune and Slovenian President Nataša Pirc Musar exchanged symbolic gifts, a gesture reflecting the strength of ties between Algeria and Slovenia and a shared will to build a strategic partnership that boosts cooperation and investment in key sectors. In a joint press statement, the President of the Republic highlighted the strong convergence of views between Algeria and Slovenia on key issues including legal migration, artificial intelligence, the space sector, water resources and environmental protection. He reaffirmed that conditions were now in place to build solid, exemplary relations between the two countries.
المجال مفتوح للتعامل مع جمهورية سلوفينيا الصديقة واللي احنا نقدر مواقفها من زمان، من أيام يوغوسلافيا حتى أيام يوغوسلافيا كان عندنا علاقات خاصة مع سلوفينيا. إذن نواصل السياحة كذلك، الفضاء مثل ما جاء في كلمة فخامة الرئيسة. إذن المجال مفتوح لعلاقات قوية وطيدة لتخليها نموذجية بين دولتين، دولة أوروبية ودولة مغاربية إفريقية.
President of the Republic stressed that Algeria remains resilient in the face of future challenges, reaffirming its readiness to meet Slovenia's gas needs. He also underlined the complementarity between the two countries, especially in key sectors like pharmaceuticals.
عندنا شباب اليوم، في شباب جزائري شغوف جدا للعلوم، لستارت اب، لكل ما هو ذكاء وكل ما هو علوم دقيقة. سلوفينيا دولة رائدة في صناعة الأدوية، وإحنا اليوم الجزائر توصلنا إلى صناعة 75% من الأدوية اللي نحتاجها في البلاد، وهذا الأمنية تاعنا أننا نشتغل مع بعض لإكمال 25% ما تبقى لمنفعة البلدين. فيما يخص تمويل جمهورية سلوفينيا الصديقة بالغاز الجزائري، فنحن حاليا من أكبر الممولين لأوروبا فيما يخص الغاز الطبيعي، وطبعا الامتداد من إيطاليا نحو سلوفينيا ونحو دول أخرى شيء طبيعي، وإحنا مستعدين للاستجابة الإيجابية لكل طلبات نتاع سلوفينيا فيما يخص الطاقة.
The President of the Republic commended Slovenia's brave and impartial position on global just causes, notably its support for the Palestinian cause as the first European country to recognize the state of Palestine. He also praised Slovenia's stance on the Sahrawi cause in support of a fair UN-led solution and the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination.
فيما يخص القضايا الدولية لا يسعني إلا أن أشكر مواقف جمهورية سلوفينيا، مواقف النزاهة والشجاعة بالنسبة لفلسطين. كانت أول دولة أوروبية تعترف بالدولة الفلسطينية، وهذا يشرف كثير السياسة السلوفينية، وأتمنى أن تكون القدوة لكثير من الدول. كما أشكر فخامة الرئيسة على موقف سلوفينيا فيما يخص ما يجري في الصحراء الغربية. نتمنى حل يرضي الطرفين تحت إشراف الأمم المتحدة، وإذا القيام بتنظيم الاستفتاء من أجل تقرير المصير في الأراضي الصحراء الغربية.
The President of the Republic stressed that Algeria is a nation of peace, committed to promoting stability across the region, the Mediterranean and the world. He recalled Algeria's long-standing role in mediation efforts aimed at achieving peaceful resolutions to conflicts.
فيما يخص النزاعات الأخرى، الجزائر رغم ما يقال هنا وهناك، ولكن الجزائر دولة مسالمة، شغلها الشاغل هو السلم في المنطقة، السلم في البحر الأبيض المتوسط، والسلم في العالم. منذ استقلالنا وإحنا نتدخل بين أصدقاء وغير الأصدقاء، أينما نشبت حرب تجد الجزائر تحاول أن تساوي الأمر أمور بسلاسة وبتفاهم، بعيدين كل البعد عن العنف.
The President of Slovenia affirmed that the state visit by the President of the Republic reflects the strength and depth ties between the two nations, underscoring a shared commitment to advancing bilateral cooperation.
Today's meeting between the two presidents reflects the strong and cordial relations between Algeria and Slovenia across several sectors. Both countries are keen to further strengthen this collaboration. To that end, the President Tebboune is accompanied by a large delegation, including several ministers responsible for the economic and business affairs. Algeria and Slovenia have enjoyed long-standing friendly ties, particularly marked by fruitful cooperation in the economic field. The recent establishment of embassies in each country underscores the growing importance of the bilateral relations and paves the way for deeper engagement. This visit also includes representatives from various institutions and sectors in both countries, aiming to accelerate and expand the cooperation. It is important to highlight that relations between Algeria and Slovenia are not only excellent bilaterally, but also at the multilateral level. Both nations are currently serving as non-permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, which further enhances their coordination and mutual support on international issues.
The President of Slovenia reaffirmed her country's stance on just international causes, reiterating Slovenia's support for a UN-backed solution to the Sahrawi issue, rooted in the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination.
We talked about the Middle East and Africa. We also talked about Western Sahara as well as Ukraine and the Balkan region. I informed the President of the Republic that Slovenia supports peaceful settlement in the Middle East and Africa. Slovenia supports also the prospects for the development of the Balkan region. And regarding the Western Sahara issue, Slovenia's proposal is clear. We are in favor of finding an acceptable solution to both parties within the United Nations based on compromise and therefore taking into account the rights of self-determination and also in accordance with the United Nations resolutions and the United Nations Charter.
And the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, has met with the Slovenian Prime Minister, Robert Golob. The President Abdelmajid Tebboune state visit to Slovenia marked a major step in strengthening Algerian-Slovenian relations, resulting in a joint declaration and key agreements in strategic sectors, reflecting both countries' commitment to deeper cooperation. Rania Al-Bahri.
الشعبية وحكومة جمهورية سلوفينيا الموقعون السيد عبدالمجيد تبون رئيس الجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية دولة الوزير الأول لجمهورية سلوفينيا الدكتور روبرت غولوب.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and the Prime Minister of Slovenia, Robert Golob, presided over the signing of a joint declaration between Algeria and Slovenia. This declaration comes as part of efforts to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. Both sides reaffirmed their full alignment on a number of key issues, including irregular migration, artificial intelligence, space, water, and environmental protection. In addition to the joint declaration, several agreements and memorandum of understanding were signed, covering various sectors, including maritime transport. These agreements reflect the mutual desire to expand and deepen bilateral cooperation. In the field of energy and natural gas, a significant contract was concluded between Algeria's Sonatrach and Slovenia's Geoplan for the supply of natural gas. Both countries also agreed to increase the volumes of gas delivered to Slovenia through the Transmed pipeline, which connects Algeria to Italy. In the area of artificial intelligence and higher education, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Algerian Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research and the Slovenian Ministry of Digital Transformation. This agreement aims to strengthen cooperation in the field of artificial intelligence with a focus on joint research projects and the development of skills and capacities. Furthermore, cooperation in space technologies was also highlighted, as a meeting between the Algerian Space Agency and the Slovenian Space Office was held to prepare the foundation for future collaboration. The partnership will focus particularly on the use of artificial intelligence in monitoring natural resources and mitigating the impact of natural disasters. At the end, the visit marked a new chapter in Algerian-Slovenian relations, laying on a solid foundation for deeper collaboration and mutual growth across strategic fields.
Upon his arrival at the National Assembly of the Republic of Slovenia, President Abdelmajid Tebboune signed the ceremonial register. He then held in-depth talks with the President of the Assembly, Urshka Klakoshkar Zupančić, in the presence of members of the Slovenian Parliament and the accompanying delegation. And in a high-level meeting, the inauguration of the Algerian-Slovenian Businessmen Forum took place, a platform dedicated to enhancing economic and trade partnerships between the two countries. Nachatay reports.
The Algerian-Slovenian Businessmen Forum kicked off under the joint supervision of the President of the Republic of Algeria and the President of the Republic of Slovenia. The event brought together businessmen from both countries alongside officials from various institutions. Also present were members of the Slovenian delegation as well as the ministerial team accompanying the President of the Republic on his state visit to this friendly nation. During this forum, the President of the Republic emphasized that the volume of exchanges between the two countries should reflect the level of the distinguished relations between the two countries, which would be realized only by multiplying cooperation opportunities. He added that Algeria today is the third economic power in Africa after developing its economy and production out of hydrocarbons.
لازم التبادلات تكون أقوى من هذا بكثير وتكون تعكس العلاقات اللي موجودة عندنا حاليا بيننا وبين.
The President of the Republic also highlighted that Algeria is the only African country with no debts, thanks to the Algerian ambitious businessmen and women, explaining that 13,000 investment projects have been registered at the level of the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency.
في إفريقيا اللي معليش ولا سنتيم مديونية هذا مؤشر قوي.
For her part, the Slovenian president highlighted the deepening ties and the strategic value of economic cooperation. Slovenia and Algeria have been strengthening their friendship for several years, and during these years we have seen several times that our two countries are capable of building strong relations, and between our two countries a political, economic and cultural partnership, as a result of which two embassies were opened, one in Ljubljana and one in Algiers during the last year. Today the economy is not just important, but it's a bridge between nations, a path towards common development, a way to create jobs and also to face common challenges such as products, food and climate change. Slovenia is an excellent entry point to the European market and is open to working with Algeria, which is an access point to Africa. Reflecting the strong mutual will of both countries' leaders, the forum highlighted the recent positive momentum and significant progress in the bilateral relations, and the discussions focused on enhancing economic and trade cooperation by making the most of available opportunities.
And last night, the President of the Republic, Abdelmejid Tebboune, visited the Palace Museum in the border region, one of Slovenia's most iconic historical and cultural landmarks. Its halls and corridors reflect the country's rich heritage and the legacy of the late President, Yugoslav Josip Broz Tito. President Tebboune concluded his tour by signing the guest book of this historic site. In other news, Algeria is following with deep concern the renewed armed clashes between Libyan brothers in the city of Tripoli, which have resulted in the loss of lives and the depletion of the resources of this brotherly nation. In light of these serious developments, Algeria reiterates its sincere and urgent call for all Libyan parties to commit to dialogue as the sole path to resolving their differences, to demonstrate a sense of national responsibility and to prioritize the supreme interest of the Libyan people over any short-term agendas or narrow interests. Algeria affirms that Libya, as a brotherly nation, requires the unity of its people and their reconciliation away from division to advance the political process under the United Nations towards a long-awaited resolution. Turning to developments in the ongoing genocidal war on the Gaza Strip, the United Nations Security Council is scheduled to hold a meeting to address the worsening humanitarian situation in Gaza as warnings of famine continue to mount. On the ground, another journalist has been killed following injuries sustained in a drone strike that targeted the burns department of the Nasser Medical Complex in Khan Yunis. The latest tragedy raises the number of journalist martyrs to 215 since the beginning of the aggression. That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. Let's see you soon.